What's going on, everybody? It is Jamie and welcome to the channel Thrift on Fire. If you're new here, I'm normally going to thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales, places like that where you can find stuff cheap to flip online. If that interests you at all, stick around because I'm going to give you some tips and tricks in this video to help you get started if you're a new seller, and maybe some things that you forgot if you're a seasoned seller that could help you out along the way. To say thank you for you guys for watching the video, I want to give away one of these t-shirts. It is a Thrift on Fire official t-shirt. The back says, I quit my job for this. I truly did quit my job for this. I am officially a full-time reseller. Thank you guys so much for all the support you've given me over the last few years here on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. And I want to give one of you guys one of these t-shirts for absolutely free. So at the end of the video, I'll explain how you can do that. And if you're not interested in this video because you've been reselling for a long time, just skip to the end and I'll tell you how you could win the t-shirt. So part one of this journey should be brainstorming. What is available in your area? Just sort of think it through. How many thrift stores are available in your area? How far would you have to drive? How many surrounding towns maybe have thrift stores available? You know, garage sale season, is it a season for you? For me, it is. It's basically spring, summer, fall. The winter, there are no garage sales, so that's not an option for me. It is a great way to source things, very, very cheap, but it might not be available all year round. And then, you know, finding stuff in retail arbitrage, which might be going into stores and looking through clearance sections to find stuff cheap to flip online is another thing people do. And you can also do that online, finding clearances online or finding liquidation companies online to, you know, find stuff cheap to flip. So we need to brainstorm, where are we going to find inventory? So now that we've figured out what is available in our area, I think one of the most successful things you can do is create a route of maybe 10 different thrift stores or 10 different stores that you like to go to source from. You can, you know, add and take away from the list. What I tend to do if some place isn't performing well, I might skip it, or if the prices tend to get too high for a while, sometimes I'll skip it and go back to it, and maybe you'll find stuff eventually there again. But it is a really good idea to have like a consistent route weekly so that you can source, you know, if you're only going to one or two stores, it's going to be hard to, you know, hit listing numbers and, you know, just get started. You definitely need to find good items, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I think having a route of basically giving you, you know, of options of places where you can pick stuff up on a regular basis is a really good idea. So now you stumble across an item that you think people will like. How do you know if it'll actually sell on eBay? So let's just use this as an example. This is Pokemon Diamond. I don't know if that's coming through there. It's Pokemon Diamond for Nintendo DS. I picked this up at a garage sale or yard sale, I think last weekend, for $1. I knew it was a good buy. I didn't even have to look it up, but I will tell you how to look it up. So in the eBay app, you just type in what it is. So Nintendo DS, Pokemon Diamond Edition. This happens to be, there's no case or anything. It is just cartridge only. So you type that in, it will show you all the ones that are listed, and that is important. But what's even more important is how many have sold. So then you just go, I will put a little video on the screen here. You go into the settings and it's just sold complete listings. And that shows you how many have sold in the last 90 days, I believe. Now the value there is it's showing you how much they sold for, so you kind of know how much to price your item for. Now the other thing that's important there, if you go back to just the listed, if you look at listed versus sold, that will give you the sell-through rate. So essentially what you want to see is, in this case, I'm not sure what the actual numbers are going to be. You want to see like 10 of these Pokemon cartridge only listed and maybe 50 sold. That would tell you, as soon as you list this game, it's going to sell right away. And you can do that with anything. You can do that with t-shirts, with hats, running shoes, and that's what you want to see. Now, if you see the opposite, if you see, you know, 50 listed and none sold, or maybe 3 sold, you're going to hang on to that item for a really long time before you sell it. And the value that you see in the listings that are just listed probably aren't even accurate of what somebody might buy. So high in demand items is definitely important. And like I said, you can do that with anything. It really doesn't matter what it is. If you can find it on eBay, you can basically figure out the sell-through rate. And that's basically, you know, the secret formula here. That's the secret sauce. You want your sell-through rate to be perfect, you know, and in a perfect world, you want it, like I said, that was probably a great number. Even let's say 3 listed, 10 sold of an item, and it's going to sell pretty quickly. Now you have your item. The next thing is taking quality pictures. This video, I'm not going to walk you through a complete how to list something on eBay, but I'm going to give you some pointers. If you're just using your cell phone like I'm recording with right now, just put your phone in square mode. And all we're going to do is look for a solid background. This is what I use behind me here. I'll give you a better idea in a second. So I'm just using this little table here. I'll throw a couple listings up to show you what my pictures look like. This is my background. This is the table. I'll do some flat lays on the floor, and that's all I'm using, that and some light boxes. One of the hardest things about selling online on most platforms is the shipping. If you have no idea how shipping works, it can be very challenging and very scary. If you're new to reselling and you don't want to deal with the shipping, your best option is something like Vinted or Poshmark. Poshmark, for sure, what happens is when you sell anything on Poshmark, they just send you the label. If you have a thermal printer, like this one back here, you just print the label off yourself. You don't need one. You can just print one on a regular printer, and you could just, regular computer paper, you just slap it on there, tape over it, or you get a little package, I forget what they're called. It's got like a sticker on it, and you slide it in, whatever. You put your paper on there and you ship it out that way. So you don't have to worry about shipping. With eBay, all they really want is the length, the width, and the height. In Canada, we're going to use centimeters. A lot of times in the US, they use inches. I think you can use either or. It doesn't really matter. The other thing they're going to want is the weight. You're just going to get a scale, a small scale like this. I got this on Amazon for like 20 bucks. I'll throw the link up here so you can see. There's nothing special about this. I think you can buy the same one at Staples. You know, you just need to be able to do kilograms and grams for Canada and pounds for the US. You can also, I think on both platforms, or both Canada and US, you can use either or. I usually use pounds these days, and then with video games, sometimes I use grams. It doesn't really matter. You can do it any way you want, regardless. And that's pretty much all you need. And packaging is the other thing. So obviously I had to buy this packaging. I bought this from Staples. I think you get a 10-pack for $8. So, you know, you got to keep it in mind. This is going to cost you money. Boxes are the same way. You can get free boxes from people, have them collect them for you. You can pay for them. Like I think 25 boxes I would ship shoes out in. 25 boxes is like something like $30 at Staples. You know, there's all different places to get them. It's sort of the cost of doing business. You have to keep in mind things cost money. Tape isn't free. If you want to get tape, you have to pay for your own tape. If you have an eBay store, which you don't need when you start, you know, you can get a coupon for free tape, I think every quarter, or you can use it for whatever. You can use it for boxes, tape. I personally use mine for eBay tape. Yeah, but it all does cost money. So you keep that in mind. These things are all going to cost you money. You can buy your labels through eBay directly, which is usually going to be Canada Post. I think there are other carriers, but commonly you're going to get a Canada Post label from them in Canada. You can do it through third-party companies like GoShippo. I currently use Stallion Express a lot for Canada and the US and international. I almost use it exclusively. There are some occasions where I don't. Another company like that is Chit Chat. You need to be in a large city for these type of companies. There are so many. You can ship directly with Canada Post with a Canada Post small business or solution for small business card. It gives you a discount. That's another great way to do it. There are so many different ways to do shipping. I personally do flat rate shipping. So most things in Canada, I usually charge $12 to $15 roughly. But if you want to do calculated shipping, that's probably the best way to start, where you just put them, basically, if you're going to sell this video game, you would put, like I said before, the length, the width, the height, you would weigh it, and then eBay with calculated shipping would tell the buyer how much it should cost to ship it. All right, I just needed a change of scenery, so I thought I'd go outside and we could talk about customer service. And I think that's one of the things people overlook on eBay. You know, basically you got to treat people like you would want to be treated. So whether that is just, you know, making sure the tracking is in there and inputted when you do sell something. People are asking questions about the items even before they bought them or even after they bought them. Just answer the questions to the best of your ability. And if somebody's, you know, being nasty with you, basically try to think of it this way. What are they really asking? If somebody's mad about where their item is, what can you do? I would just screenshot the last time the item was scanned. You can say, hey, if we don't see any movement, I could potentially, you know, contact the carrier, things like that. You know, if they ask, it looks like there's a stain on this shirt, maybe you need to take another picture of the shirt. Maybe you overlooked it. Just kind of figure out what they're trying to get across to you and answer it to the best of your ability. Now, the thing we should all be doing is going back, looking at old items and seeing, you know, if the value is still there. If I listed something 6 months ago for $50 and it didn't sell, maybe I listed it too high, or maybe the value or the market has changed on that item. So you just go back the same way. You just relook up the item. You see how many listed versus how many sold. You kind of look at the sold comps and you figure out, you know, what yours what the value of yours might be based on condition and other things like that. And maybe you need to edit some things like that. You could also, if you had an eBay store, you could also try running sales. And then another thing is you can check sort of your SEO, which is just your search engine optimization. If you don't know what that is, there's tons of videos out there about it. But in your listing, it's basically using keywords to find, to make your search on Google and even on eBay much better. So make sure those things are all in there. You have the right keywords, and that will help you with sales for sure. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is profit and loss. We really do need to check and make sure that we're actually making money on these items. So there's lots of different ways to do that. I like to use a company called eProfit. I'll drop a link down below. I'll give you an example of sort of something that I could break down and show you how much profit was made on it. You basically want to know how much fees you're paying on eBay or whatever platform you're selling on, and if it's really worth your time selling. If you're only making a couple dollars, or maybe you are assuming you're making money, you're actually losing money, that's not good. You definitely want to have a good sell-through rate. You definitely want to have a decent amount of profit on your items, and you have to know how much you're paying for items. So I think tracking all that is a good idea. And I do think eProfit for eBay is one of the best programs you can use out there. It just sort of gives you a rough idea of how much money you're going to make on something. And I even use that sometimes if I'm thinking about picking something up and it seems like the profit margins are good. I'll run it through eProfit, and sometimes I'm surprised in how little I'd actually be making, and it might not even be worth your time. So definitely make sure you're making money on stuff that you're going to list online. Back to the giveaway. If you guys want to win this shirt, all you have to do is comment down below the very first thing you ever listed on eBay, and did it sell, yes or no? Or maybe it's still listed because you're a brand new seller. And I did quit my job for this. I'm officially full-time eBay reseller. I'm a full-time online reseller. To be honest, I sell across multiple platforms. And yeah, I wanted to give this shirt away to you guys for, sticking around. If you're new to the channel, that's awesome. If you've been watching for a while, I really do appreciate it and want to give something away. So yeah, if you guys like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing for more content. Till next time, take care, stay safe, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.